Ghidorah, the one who is many. This creature from beyond our galaxy that arrived on Earth like a falling star has terrified civilizations for thousands of years. With its gravity beams, regenerative ability, and wings that shadow even the largest of cities, it's no wonder that ancient cultures tried their hardest to forget about this creature. Of course, we know Ghidorah wanted to terraform the planet into his own personal playground. But what if there's a deeper reason? What if there was an immense source of power that would have allowed Ghidorah to not only conquer Earth, but the whole galaxy? Join us as we look into Ghidorah's evil plan, today on Dangerville. When Ghidorah arrived on Earth, he began a reign of destruction that was witnessed by many different cultures, and the sites were immortalized in the form of cave paintings and stone carvings, both on the surface, across all continents, and in the hollow Earth. Based on when the cave paintings were made, Ghidorah's attack could have happened between 15,000 to 60,000 years ago, although some of these paintings may have been made by the descendants of those that survived the attacks, whose ancestors told stories about the three-headed devil that set the world alight. But Ghidorah's invasion did not go unnoticed, as Earth's protector, Godzilla, the Alpha Titan, rose up to defend the planet from this invasive species. Godzilla, being the Alpha Titan, was able to rally the other Titans to assist him in the war. And after a brutal battle, Ghidorah retreated to Antarctica. And whilst this might just seem like a random region to fly to, there was a very big strategic advantage hidden within the icy wasteland: the entrance to the hollow Earth. But before he could make it into the vortex, he was killed by Godzilla, and with help from Scylla, who has the ability to release liquid nitrogen, freezes Ghidorah in place, locking him away in an icy prison, unable to harm anything or anyone again. And over time, Ghidorah was forgotten, left alone in the desert for thousands of years. That was until Monarch discovered his body hidden away under the ice, and they began researching him, careful to not awaken him from his long slumber. But as we know, humanity can't keep their hands off powers beyond their comprehension, and the terrorist group led by Alan Jonah and Dr. Emma Russell released Ghidorah in an attempt to give the Titans back control of the planet from the humans. But this plan backfired when they realized Ghidorah is not from this world and didn't want to preserve the planet, but instead wanted to destroy it. And Ghidorah had nothing but time to regenerate his damaged cells, and he was ready to wreak havoc once again. But Godzilla arrived in Antarctica in an attempt to defeat the awoken Ghidorah once and for all, although without the assistance of other Titans, found this task to be difficult. But with the help from the USS Argo, they were able to push Ghidorah into a retreat, away from the entrance of the hollow Earth. Ghidorah proceeded to wake up all the other Titans on Earth and use his alpha call to force them to do his bidding, destroying the Earth and stopping anything from getting what he truly desired. But thanks to Godzilla, Mothra, and a radiation boost from Serizawa, he was able to incinerate Ghidorah, preventing the end of the world and returning the Earth to a natural order without the invasive species. Proving that Godzilla was truly the king of the monsters. But what was it that Ghidorah truly wanted? Was there more on his mind than a feral lust for destruction? Well, of course Ghidorah wanted power and to control as much of the galaxy as possible. But in order to do so, he needed an unlimited power source of unimaginable potential, and Ghidorah knew he could find it on Earth. Not on the surface, however, but in the core of the hollow Earth, as there lies an element that humanity has barely garnered an understanding to the extent of its power, an element that harnesses the radiation of this very planet's core. This element has the same chemical compound as Godzilla's dorsal plates, as his species over millions of years has evolved to utilize this same energy source to power its attacks and become the apex species of the planet. Thousands of years ago, when the Titans forced Ghidorah into a retreat, he didn't fall back to Antarctica coincidentally, for there lies the entrance to the hollow Earth, in the form of a gravity well, a vortex that drops you straight into the homeland of the Titans. Here, Ghidorah would have found a seemingly unlimited supply of the element that absorbs radiation, giving him enough power to effortlessly destroy the planet and continue his galactic conquest. We know that Ghidorah absorbs radiation since during his fight with Godzilla in Boston, he began draining Godzilla's radiation like a syringe drawing blood. And while Godzilla was bursting with power, his radiation levels would be minuscule compared to the entire ocean of natural resources plentiful in the Hollow Earth. If Ghidorah had made it into the Hollow Earth and absorbed the radiation straight from the source, he would have been more powerful than all the other Titans combined. Growing in size, pulsating with energy, his gravity beams would transform into planet-destroying bursts of energy capable of bending light and gravity, similar to the black hole that acted as a sun on his planet of origin. Ghidorah would have gained the ability to travel so quickly it would simply materialize out of the sky in a mesmerizing explosion of bright flashes and fire, bending the very rules of time itself. When Ghidorah woke up in Antarctica in 2019 AD, he was greeted by a world overrun by a new alpha, mankind. And alongside Godzilla, they forced him to fall back as he was outnumbered and would have been slaughtered before he even made it into the Hollow Earth vortex. This planet is protected by the same beast that killed him, Godzilla. Ghidorah knew he had to rally up an army before he made his journey to the Hollow Earth. And that he did, turning what were Godzilla's allies against him. The Titans of planet Earth could not have expected the extent in which Ghidorah would gain power, and although some would side with him, there were those that would stand between him and world conquest. And as stated, they were thankfully able to take down Ghidorah once and for all. But once again, humanity can't keep their hands off powers beyond our comprehension, and humanity recovered the skull of Ghidorah to make a new weapon. And in 2024, Apex finalized construction of a new technology, a mechanized giant of their own, a titan called Mechagodzilla. Using a psionic link, Apex was able to essentially turn Ghidorah's skull into a supercomputer, capable of controlling such a giant. This skull would have controlled the mech telepathically from a remote location, in a similar fashion to how Ghidorah's 3 heads would have communicated. But there's only one problem. Humanity didn't have an energy source effective enough to power such a titan for extended periods of time. That was until Monarch's venture into the Hollow Earth to uncover the very unknown power source that Ghidorah sought. Apex was able to recover a sample of the element and was able to replicate it and place it inside Mechagodzilla. This surge of energy erupted inside Mechagodzilla, overloading the pilot's controls and killing him in a fit of electrical shocks. It severed the links from any manual controls, and the DNA from Ghidorah's skull led to age-old memories flooding back, transforming the computer systems into a digital consciousness. Ghidorah had reawakened and was now in control of a new metal body with destructive new powers. And in a way, Ghidorah got what he came here for, the elements from the Hollow Earth that would have gifted him an array of new abilities. And that it did. Rockets, jet-propelled punches, and laser beams. This was all entirely new to Ghidorah, and he was loving it. Mechagodzilla jumped into the fray to kill the very thing that halted its path of destruction thousands of years ago, Godzilla. With Ghidorah's consciousness now piloting Mechagodzilla, he started thrashing Godzilla around like a ragdoll and was setting himself up to become the new apex predator of Earth. Although his attack was stopped when Kong jumped into the fray with an axe made from pieces of Godzilla's ancestors, with the blade ironically having the same chemical compound as the energy source that Ghidorah originally desired. When charged up by Godzilla's atomic breath, the blade sliced through Mechagodzilla effortlessly, giving Ghidorah a taste of the power he almost had, just before being put down, this time for good. Ghidorah's evil comes from its greed, its lust for more power and more control over the galaxy. But it's that greed that ultimately led to its demise. His plan was to come to Earth and drain the planet of all its natural resources, which is wholeheartedly evil, but unfortunately something that's happening to our very own world today. Godzilla vs. Kong is a story ultimately about greed and how it can backfire. Just like Walter Simmons, who was killed by the creation he was prioritizing over human life, Mechagodzilla was killed by the elements that he craved, in the form of Kong's axe. Greed, in the end, will always lead to your demise. So that's Ghidorah's plan. His goal was to conquer the galaxy, terraforming planet after planet as he went, and on his journey, he was going to drain the Earth dry of its natural resources, looking for the most powerful element in the world, to become more powerful than any creature in the universe. What do you think about Ghidorah's terrifying plan? What horrors could we have seen if he had reached full power? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, then like it, because it helps this video reach even more fans. Don't forget to subscribe and stomp that notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.